will be different. So, welcome to the Youth Congress of this international conference. And this particular conference, or rather this particular congress, will zoom into what the young people wants or demands or view. All right? So, because it is within the young community of the world, and this is an international interfaith peace conference, to make you feel peaceful, we have with us today one person that all the way from Islamic University of Malaysia, okay, has come here to do a bit of a presentation in the form of a, I would say, I would like to use the word nasheed because it will give a wrong impression, because I do not want it to be just nasheed. It is something melodious, yeah? All right? This is in the spirit of dialogical of Professor Dr. Emeritus Dr. Dato Dr. Usman Bakar. So without further ado, we begin our session with a different tone. Let's welcome our brother from Bangladesh, but studying a PhD student of the International Islamic University in Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. So without further ado, please get yourself in tune with the music, with the melody of AKM Motiur Rahman. Yes. And it's, I think you got to have to learn to listen first before making an opinion. All right.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان صدق الله العظيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Allah the Almighty said, the sun and the moon adhere to a fixed schedule, and the stars and trees prostrate to their creator. We can ask and answer in a melody voice. Who made the sun so bright and strong? Who made the sky so high and tall? Who made the sun so bright and strong? Who made the sky so high and tall? Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Who made the sun so bright and strong? Who made the sky so high and tall? Who made the moon a bird so small? Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother Mutiur Rahman. Well, probably it becomes a good beginning because we will be now talking about youth. And this youth forum will be discussing on certain issues. I do not want to take too much of your time because we have already wasted a lot of time now. So without further ado, let me immediately pass this session to our able moderator, by Dr. Siti Nur Munirah Ibrahim from Ikram, who has gone through a lot of challenges coming over here to the jam. All right, please, sister. The whole floor is yours. Anyway, it's your call. Yeah.
Okay, thank you to the MC. So, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, or we're heading towards evening now. It's lovely to see everybody here. So before we continue, I don't want to delay, so I'd like to invite the rest of the panel to the stage and then we can get talking. I think there's lots to discuss, lots of young faces, there are some senior faces as well, but there's definitely young hearts, yeah, definitely agreed. So from Abin, Dr. Farid, can you come to the stage? And then we have Connie Koo. Hi, come on up. And Muhammad Isa Ruhullah. Connie, would you like to sit with me here? Yeah, definitely. The power is on this side, yeah? Okay, thank you so much, everybody. All right. Okay, all right. So, so before we start, first of all, I would like to say thank you to Asin, who organized this conference, and this is a recurring thing, and I love to be here every time we have this. Allied Coordinating Council of Islamic NGOs Malaysia, and supported by Ikram. So my name is Dr. Siti Nur Munirah Ibrahim. You can call me Munira, and I am from Pertubuhan Ikram Malaysia, supported also by Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, ABIM, Pure Land Learning Center, and also the Pure Land Learning College, and also the Pure Land Learning Center. So this afternoon, we know everybody's probably tired, but at the same time, hopefully motivated after a whole day of engagement and discussion. And usually when it comes to youth, there's like, this burning kind of, desire, and also a power to change things. We do have the power to change things, the passion, that's it. Thank you very much. So without further ado, let us, the theme for this conference today is the essentiality of interaction and dialogue for a truly harmonious society. So this is what we are doing today. Let's sit down together in a state of harmony and talk about how we can move forward together in this current world where it's full of turmoil. And I think, nobody is unaware of the big issue, the big humanitarian issue in the world right now, which is in Palestine, that has actually made the youth all around the world rise to the occasion. But it just shows how much power the youth have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to have 3 rounds and then we're going to open to questions. We're now 5:45, so we'll try and keep to time because 7 o'clock is prayer time. Right. So what we'll do is for the first round, we'll have a quick, brief introduction from our esteemed speakers, and then we'll go on to the first round where we'll discuss a bit about the topic itself. And then the third round, we'll invite you to share from where you come from, perhaps different experiences and knowledge from what you have gone through yourself. And then we'll open the floor for questions. Is that okay? All right. Okay. And feel free to, stand up, do star jumps, or if you have any questions that are burning, you may want to put up your hands, or we'll leave it to the end where we can discuss further. All right. So firstly, I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Farid Hafiz Muhammad Omar as Deputy President of ABIM to kindly introduce yourself briefly. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good evening to everyone. Thank you to Dr. Munirah and distinguished scholars as well as inviters. So hopefully, I think this is a long journey since the morning to have discussion, and I think this is the first time sessions that we continued session until this time, as well as we will continue tonight. Hopefully all the participants stay strong and then get benefit from it, inshallah, until tomorrow. So my name Muhammad Farid Hafiz bin Muhammad Omar. So currently I'm a head of the program Dakwah Islamic Management at the Faculty of Leadership and Management, University Saint Islam Malaysia, or we call as a USIM. So at the same time, as a Deputy President of ABI, Muslim Youth Movement of Malaysia, we have President here. He's supposedly here, but yeah, since we know that he just landed from Korea this morning, so then beside I replacing him, Alhamdulillah. So I think to short it, my experience in the ABIM as well as the way how we interact and connect to engage with the youths, I think proven by the history and by the studies. But in terms of the topic that we are going to discuss this evening into AI, I think it's something new that we look into it, especially when we also try to discuss it in terms of the lens of different religions, different faiths, as proposed by ASIN, since we are hearing from the 8th resolution made by the chairman of ASIN just now. So I think this is a new things that we need to look forward, inshallah. So I think that's a very short in order to what we call to safeguard the time frame. Thank you, Dr. Munirah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farid. All right, so now I'd like to invite Connie Koo from Australia, all the way from Australia. If you can kindly introduce yourself. Thank you.
So hello or good evening to you all today. My name is Connie. I feel like I'm very underqualified today to be on this panel next to my panelists, but I have a background in secondary education. So I actually finished my last assignment for my degree just 2 days ago. So I handed that in. I'll be graduating fairly soon, February next year. So I guess that's where I work with youth as well. I also work full-time with Mr. Hanif over there, director of the Multi-Faith Multicultural Centre, Toowoomba, where we plan events, basically, do community mediation, and work with local community, with council, to create conferences and events. We also, so I also overlook a youth committee, a youth organisation, where it's consisted of high school students and university students, because I realised that coming to Southeast Asia, that the age range for youth in particular is bit over what we consider to be youth in Australia. Youth is actually from the ages of 12 to 25. So once you're over 25, you're considered an adult then. So, but give or take a few, I think there's a lot to learn from the younger generation, and there's so much to see and that I've experienced with the young team as well. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. And it's lovely to have you here. Actually, here, we actually want to push the age up even further because the rest of us who have gone past the youth age still feel we are youth. So it's like, young at heart. So, okay, we look forward to the discussion. Thanks, Connie. And then last but definitely not least, Muhammad Isa Ruhullah, all the way from Bangladesh. Would you like to introduce yourself? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulil Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Very good evening. I think it's already close to evening to every one of you. And as moderator, thank you very much, Dr. Manira. And beside me, Doctor, also this side is from Australia all the way. Our speaker or panelist. I'm a very young guy and still learning. And next month will be my Viva, PhD Viva from International Islamic University. They have a center called International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization. So there where I'm completing my PhD, and currently I'm teaching in UM. I have some few students there. So, and quite interestingly, I got the invitation from the evergreen man, Haji Jamal. He's here. I call him evergreen because I met him for the first time in 2012. Another Interfaith Harmony, which was collaborated with Exin at Malaysia and also Madani Indonesia, I think India, and we organized that event in IIUM. So maybe Haji Jamal still remember that event. So since 2012, I see him as young as today that I'm seeing him here. Thank you very much for inviting me here. So I grow by involving with a society called Education and a Student. Also in Malaysia, most of my life I spent in Malaysia. In the middle also I was in Indonesia. Then when I received the invitation from Exin about this topic, then I was like surprised because recently I had a few publication which is related to this conference. First one, I can read the title like Time and Society in the Quran. But in the framework of Al-Ghazali, Integration of Ancient Wisdom into the Islamic Epistemology, that was the first publication that I did, which is very linked to today's conference. And then I want to mention another publication that I did last year, which is called The Development of Soul in Early Children Age. But the model that time I use is the Ibn Sina's theory. And there are a lot of publication which is related, maybe you can see later on. And currently, I did my PhD thesis completed, which is also linked to integration of knowledge, which is there are Professor Nakibul Alatas in Malaysia who talk about integration of Islamic knowledge and thought. And before that also there is a Professor Kamal Hassan who talk about Islamization of knowledge, and Professor Usman Bakar and also Tansri Zulkifli, they are talking about the cosmology and also the science and earth science. So coincidentally, the brother who recited the poem just before that, he recited the verse about the Shams and Qamar and the tree. So these are the verses very related to today's topic actually. It's very interesting that we have to know that Quran is a universal book. The Hadith is a practice of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is today that we can use as a universally. And this, by this thing, I think I need to conclude so I can talk more in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Isa. Right, because I'm the moderator, I'm going to have to watch the time. So, and because we're so far away, this is me saying it's time, okay? Me and my fan, all right? So, because I know we've got a lot to discuss. Thank you. It's really interesting. And, but we'll try and move on, and then we can continue. You can add on to your parts of the forum. So first of all, what we're going to do is go through to, so our title today of the forum is Building Bridges Through Youth Empowerment in an AI-Driven Society. So something really relevant to the current day and age. So first of all, I'm going to ask Dr. Farid, through your experience as a youth leader, through ABIM and engaging with the youth, why are we having a specific conference for the youth? Why are the youth so important in promoting peace and interfaith harmony? So perhaps focusing on youth empowerment, could you maybe speak about that?
All right, thank you to Dr. Munira for the question. So I think I will try to make it short and try to be precise to give my idea in terms of this. But I have to make the disclaimer that AI discussion is not my forte, but then I will try my best in order to try to put it into the way how ABIM works to engage with the youth especially, and how we can mingle it between the advancement of technology, the way how also at the same time Malaysia currently being a leading country in order to, as a AI hub, especially that we also establish some kind of institution, center and so on, and also we receive investment in terms of how AI should be developed in our country, then will benefit so many of, especially the youth, in terms of job employment, wage demand and so on. But then looking into the way how ABIM experience to engage with the youth especially. So then the way how AI comes into develop a bridge between the society, AI-driven society. So I think this is the way how we need to, I think we have to go to the basic, to the foundation that set up the society itself. So yes, definitely the society itself developed by the values. Society was developed by the way how we say the culture, especially the language, the religion, the faiths. So although this kind of advancement of technology, especially the AI, will replace certain things, but this kind of basic foundations cannot be replaced, but it needs to be strengthening. Hopefully, what I'm talking now in line with our expert here, because he is so expert in education as well as the technology of AI. So I don't want to surpass his expertise because I'm not so much expert in terms of that. My field, leadership, as well as religious NGOs, Da'wah NGOs, as well as interfaith. But then, looking at the youth, as the number is growing, expanding, become bigger and bigger in Malaysia. So this is a challenge for the youth, how they can fit into the AI discussion, how the youth are ready to utilize the multifaceted of the function of AI. So, however, we can see because of we hear the experience that after COVID comes in, hit country, we had the so big numbers about the poor digital poverty. So it impact the way how second generation or the first generation, the most important generation in education, especially the youngest one, those below 12 at the time, who was impacted by this kind of situations, but now they are so-called as we seems to tend them as the expert of technology, but however they are having some kind of lacking how to utilize, maximize the potential of AI. If the worst case comes, they will be manipulated by the AI system. They will be manipulated by the technology. So I think in terms of that, this is need to be how it can be comparated between the elders, the youth, especially at the center of the crux, as well as how it can develop and become a teachers to the earliest one, which is the child, the children. So looking back at the question, how it can bridge and so on, how ABIM can play its role, I think ABIM also have its education. ABIM also need to advance its system. ABIM have to open up his system, try to be to deliver how education, especially Islamic studies, religious studies, can be incorporated with the AI technologies and so on, and then strengthening the faith inside the foundation that I mentioned earlier, values, cultural, language, faith, and so on. So then it can still be a human's, a better human, as Quran says about the ummatan wasata, and then khairukum ummah, and so on. So I think this is the way how ABIM need to play its role, and ABIM also need to look into it, how ABIM also can work bigger and can involve bigger with the another potential collaborations in order to fit into the discussion. If not, we don't want to see that the discussion of religious or Islamic movement outside the discussion of the advancement of technology or cannot follow the technology advancement. I think we need to stop that kind of narrative, but ABIM need to become a leader to champion in order to this, since ABIM also have this kind of education system and so on. So I think this is the way how, based on my experience, the way how I look into ABIM, based on our president also here, I think this is our commitment to involve and to participate further into the AI discussion and technology. So I think I stop here, there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farid. I think, I mean, knowing ABIM and knowing people from ABIM for a while now, you're doing a lot of things on the ground and definitely within the youth population. And it's good to know that, you know, what we've talked about in terms of education and realizing the problem with digital poverty and how we can incorporate the AI into the education system and empowering our youth. Perhaps for the next round, perhaps we go into how we can bring people together in bringing youth empowerment through different, outside than ABIM and other institutions. But before that, Connie, talking about building bridges, when we say building bridges, it's as if there are silos to bridge, yeah? And perhaps there are challenges and barriers that we are trying to build bridges across so that we can empower the youth in this AI-driven society. Would you like to comment or share about perhaps what barriers there are and what challenges we have currently that perhaps we need to address together?
I think it's a very interesting topic, especially in terms of youth empowerment and then building bridges to connect community. And then in terms of bringing AI into that as well with technology. So even though I have a teaching background, I major in visual arts and psychology. So there are sort of certain themes that also fall under. It's quite interesting, and you know that these certain topics touch on. I think, in particular, barriers. Right? We can say that with AI, myself as a creative and as a teacher, there are certain moral and ethically grey areas. I guess that could be considered a barrier, especially in youth empowerment, right? How are we empowering young people if these are the things that we teach them, right? Or how are we empowering young people, or if it is empowering them at all, if we are not leading them to make the right choices, where now everything is so accessible at the touch of our fingertips. So that, I think, is considered a barrier. But then also on the flip side, right, even with technology at the touch of our fingertips, we are so often isolated. Actually, I was scrolling through YouTube a couple of days ago, and I suddenly scrolled upon a video where there was one person, there was a guy who was crying. He uploaded a video of him crying, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Why is he crying? And he said he just felt really, really isolated. We're in this world where we're so connected, but yet so technologically isolated. Certainly something to think about, not just in Australia, but also everywhere across the world. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Connie. I think you touched on something really important there, where as much as technology and definitely AI is bringing us into a new world completely, where we wouldn't have thought of this maybe, 10 years ago. And it's exciting, and it's like there are limitless possibilities, really. But the ethical line, between what good it brings about and what potential bad it brings about, and those who can manipulate it to use it for the wrong reasons, is definitely, it can be a grey line, can't it? And how do we control that when everybody has their own access and device, and especially among the youth? And if you're talking about in Australia, the youth is at a much younger age. Now, interestingly, was it this morning or yesterday where news came out that Australia is banning social media for under 16? I mean, that is, to me, I totally agree with that. I mean, I actually practice that with my children. But it just goes to show that it has had that much harm on the youth that they've had to, ban it completely. But it's really true, because mental health and in fact isolation and just how many youth have committed suicide because of, because of social media. So thank you for highlighting that. I think that's a really interesting aspect. Okay, Isa, do I call you Isa? Is that Isa? All right. So since you are the expert, from the sounds of it, from the AI point of view, it's okay. We'd like to hear about, perhaps if you want to elaborate on AI itself, artificial intelligence, and your thoughts on that in this particular topic. Would you like to share with us your thoughts? You can, with just as long as we've got, in the interest of time. So we're at 6:06. How long do you need? 15 minutes. Is that the whole presentation?
Yeah, I can go quickly because
Okay.
I have some information there.
Okay, you can go with the 15 minutes. I will stop you at 15, and then we'll continue with the discussion. Is that all right? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Munira. Brother, can you? Okay. Thank you so much. Actually, I don't like this high seat because I am a young teacher. I really move in my class. So it's make me... Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much. So I like when I talk and walk. So I will go through a little bit about just a few days ago, I come across a video of Elon Musk. He said AI, artificial intelligence, is dangerous than nuclear weapon. But then the media asked him, so why you are doing so? Then he said, well, the benefits of AI, it's more than what it's going to be happen. I'm not sure, he said. And then he was asking also, he want to transform the human into the artificial intelligence. So what he using it, I'm very bad in science terminology, so just excuse me for that. So he was saying that the brain of human being, it's gonna be transferred to the AI. So the AI can make own decision. So do you understand what is dangerous? He was saying that AI could be dangerous than the nuclear weapon. And that is why I was thinking how to present in this platform in a balanced way where we can talk about the harmony, interfaith, responsibility as a human being, and also justice, ethics. All this was in my mind. And I was like, cracking my mind to fix a title and to fix all this PowerPoint. Then Alhamdulillah, in my way, I try to fix it little bit that I could benefit myself and also the audience. I will try, inshallah. Next slide, please. So I started with the previous slide. Quranic verse here, you can see all mankind is created from a man and a woman. We call, in Islam, we call them Prophet Adam and Hawa. So, but then we became into a nation, tribes, different colors, different countries. But the Quran said we are from one. That means all human beings are from one father and one mother. That is the Quran, and we Muslim believe. In that sense, we are obliged to take responsibility. As a human being, we have a lot of responsibility in terms of justice, in terms of humanity. And then I just like put a three main key point that here you can see. One is AI, a transformative force. It can be transformed in any ways. But as a human being who is the creator of AI, you can lead it. For example, one game I can example you. We are playing, the kids are playing the online games, the internet game platform that it's kind of fake game actually he's playing, because he's playing himself as a human being, but the opposite side playing is a person. But he is thinking that he is winning. But then economically, if you look at that, he is not winning actually. Always the opposition, the AI person is winning. And then the person is playing the game, he is winning only 1 or 2 times. So this is a different thing. I just want to give you an example that AI can lead with any dimension that the person is holding the key. And then we have another youth in the AI time, today's time I'm talking about. Youth has an important role to play, but they need something called mentor. Then later on I will show you one by one. And then our shared value as a human being, we are from different color, different tribes, different faith. So we have the shared values, the peace and harmony. Even to develop the AI, I will give you the example of the prophetic system, and also the Quran was leading the youth, and Prophet was the mentoring person, the teacher to the Sahaba at that time, he's a companion. So I will give inshallah the example one by one. Please, next slide. So how we can make the AI as an interfaith dialect? Like for example, when we go to another country, how do we use the Google translation? The tools there we can use. And today there are a lot of tools that we can use. ChatGPT is one of them. We can, one click, we can know what is the traditions, what is the culture of another country, another tribes. We can get it easily. So AI, we can use in a positive way. And also we have another point of view. It's in the second, another slide please. Yeah, theological perspective, because I'm talking on the background that I have learned, which is faith. I'm talking about the point of view of Quran and Hadith. But then I find out the comparative studies, the Christianity, the Hinduism, Buddhism, they are the same thing that they are talking, what Quran mentioned about the justice, the harmony, peace, non-violence. The word in Hinduism, they use the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's meaning the world is one family. The same thing at the beginning I mentioned that the verse that I show you, we are from one parent. And then the Buddhism, they mention the ahimsa, non-violence. So just think the theological perspective also we can imply in the AI system to make AI as interfaith and also the peaceful use and justly use. In Quran, I can give you another example in Surah Ma'idah. You can go through Surah Ma'idah that Allah mentioned that you are the human being that the different colors that I created you, because there is a philosophy behind it that you will know each other, you will get like relationship with each other, which is really beautifully I can see in Malaysia also. That previous speaker was mentioning that he has a relatives Muslim, but he is a Christian, and then he has a relative who is Hindu. So this is a diverse practice that we can see in many countries, but we need to improve it a lot, because we are having a crucial crisis in this time. Today's time, like violation and killing each other and hate speech is there. And the next slide, please. How to handle with AI. So I want to quote Elon Musk. He said, whatever data input that you give to the AI system, that robots will react based on the data. But above that, when he was talking about the neuroscience, about the brain, that is different. It's very high. I don't want to talk about it. But the basic thing, the teenagers, they are playing with the games, and maybe they are going through maximum high level what they can go. Those are under control of parents, under control of school, and we can control them with the mentoring, the giving them the value lesson, and education is important there. So foundation of, I want to just elaborate a little bit about Madani concept of current government. The Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim always talking about the Madani concept. What behind his philosophy is actually he want a society where the education, the value, the equality, and the justice, it's equivalent for all the nations. And I think we have a triple IT expert here. He will be agree that what is all I listen the speech of Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and triple IT, they are all talking about the framework and methodology. So in that case, I am very interested to talk about the integration of knowledge. When you talk about integration of knowledge, knowledge meaning everything. You can connect with Quran, you can connect with the Bible, you can connect with the Hindu manuscript, Buddhism manuscript, anything that talk about the good thing for the society. And next slide, please. Yeah. Again, next one, please. Yeah. Then I just mentioned that I will talk about little bit about Prophet, how he practiced the development of the youth during his time, and how he identified the youth that capable to deal with it. There is a who is good to himself, he cannot do bad things to another people. So you have to be good to yourself first. Then you can do the good things for the society or for others. By that I'm saying that the ethical framework, if you are unethical even with yourself, you cannot be an ethical person or leaders. So we need to get the ethics in ourselves first. Then how to establish our youth with the universal morality and the framework called universal acceptance. You know, when there is a today, Prof. Emeritus Datu Usman Bakar was talking about it. He mentioned about Shura. The Prophet, when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was migrated, because his family and his friends was torturing him to leave even his home, then he migrated to Medina. I just make it short because Dr. Munira is looking at me, so I feel really scared. So I just want to make it short explanation of Prophet Muhammad's life. When he was tortured because his family was not non-believer, right? He born a family that non-believer. And out of a sudden when he was talking about the Tawheed and also the taqwa bi Allah and then the one godness, then his family got angry on him. Then he need to migrate. You know, he migrated to a state called Yasrib at the time. Today is Medina, it's called. The people welcomed him. They were not Muslim. They were Jewish people. They were Christian people. Because before Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who was the prophet? Prophet Muhammad's before him is Prophet Isa, the Jesus Christ. Miss Maryam Rus, right? Jesus Christ is Isa, Prophet Isa. I think she's busy. So, Prophet Isa, Jesus Christ, his believer was there in Medina. And then, but they accepting, they welcome Prophet Muhammad because one identity. They said, you are a good man, we heard from a lot of people. And then you are a justice man. So welcome to our home. So he stay in Medina. But then he sat with them to establish a society for the peace. He sit with the leader of Jewish, leader of Christian. And then they negotiate. And it's become today called Constitution of Medina. You can read in Google, just write Constitution of Medina, is recognized by world, even non-Muslim, the best constitution. and the first constitution on the earth. So, the meaning to say that, can I have another 2 minutes? Please, next. Okay. The example, the Quranic example, Quran talk about the youth. The example of the Surah Kahf. The youth, they were very youth. They have a deep trust on God. They were sleeping. And there lived one dog, and the dog was also obeying them, the cave people, and the dog didn't leave. And there was a flood happened, many things happened. The meaning to say that Allah was saying that the believers, the strongness, the youth have it more than the other people. So we need to take care of the youth, nurturing them with the morality and ethics. And the next, please. Okay, next, please. Yeah, now we came to the application. How we can apply these things to youth people. So, I was talking about with the scholar there, Mariam Roos. You know, we are missing of the homeschooling, the parenting of religion. You know, in my childhood, I get a lesson from the childhood, from my parents, which is good, which is not good. But nowadays, our parents, they are busy with their work. And they send the children to where? Daycare. So the daycare curriculum, we need to look and survey. This curriculum, it's combined with balancing the worldly knowledge and the spiritual knowledge or not. I'm talking about the all religion. I'm not talking about the Quran. I'm talking about Quran, Bible, Christian, and everything, Hinduism. So if you see where you are sending your kids, the school, the college, the primary, the university, you need to look at one thing is called the curriculum. The curriculum is balancing or not. With the religion study, the spirituality, the well-being. If it is there with the technology, go ahead. Then we will get a society, the youth with the balancing and more human. And I think the last slide, please. Yeah. So I hope I explained little bit maybe here and there, but main point is there that we need to get spiritual knowledge, worldly knowledge in the balancing, then we can build an balancing society where will not be injustice and inhumanity things that happening. Thank you, Dr. Medina.
Thank you so much, Isa, on that comprehensive presentation. Actually, you were spot on 15 minutes, so well done. So maybe it was my stare that was like keeping you on check. So thank you. Thank you for that. I think you touched on a lot of things there. And I think one crucial factor is, I mean, there were many points, but our shared values. And I think that is what brings us together today, right? In this room and even from morning till now. And the fact that we are all here from different backgrounds, different faiths, different countries, different races, but we're all here with the shared values. And it's those same values that we want to inculcate from the children to the youth and to the adults of the future. However, this is where, how do we control this? How do we ensure that this AI-driven society has those shared values, which you rightly pointed out. We'll go on to the next round now. Again, we're at 6:24. So, Dr. Farid, I was just wondering, so Brother Isa just now, he touched on the Madani concept. So, from a Malaysian perspective and the efforts that are done, including today by ATSIN and our government, how do you think we could come together, ABIM and also the rest of society in Malaysia, or what perhaps success that we have had that maybe we can share with people from other countries, perhaps?
Thank you, Dr. Munirah. And very tough question, I think, to prove that the success story of Malaysia. But I think this is the success story of Malaysia that we have in this hall, within the 4 blocks. So there are too many, but I think the most, I'm not sure which one that I wanted to pinpoint that the best success of, to call up that the unity of Malaysia and so on. But looking at the way how Malaysia was developed, looking at the way how the society or the Malaysian itself was established himself by having multi-racial, multi-faiths, multi-languages, that we still live in harmony, peacefully. This uniqueness that we have, I think, need to be prosper and need to be maintained. And then looking at the ideas of Madani, Malaysia Madani. So I think this is, since the idea of Madani is not the new things to the so-called of the ABIM, because of the idea of Madani we already received since in 1978 when Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, as the second of President of ABIM, launching the ucapan dasar or presidential speech that Islam penyelesaian masalah masyarakat majmuk, which is the way how ABIM from the early days that stress the importance of unity and based on the foundation that Islam must be the backbone of all the solutions that we need in Malaysia. So I think since then that ABIM played its role greatly, alhamdulillah. However, at the same time also by the support of the government as well as by the society, we cannot achieve not necessarily the ABIM in history, but the way how in terms of the constitution of the Malaysia, by having the majority of the population, Malay itself, then I think we already able to show and present that the beautifulness of Islam throughout of our identity, although we are Malay majority, but we can live happily with other society itself. So this is the way how we thought in terms of looking back at the topic that we discuss now, bridge the community between the AI-driven society. I think this is the opportunity that Malaysians have take place. So the opportunity that not always comes looking at another history of other countries. But since then, yes, we've been tested by 69 events, 13 May, but still we can manage it accordingly, peacefully. Not so much bloodshed happened. However, that kind of histories drive us forward in order to maintain the prosperous of Malaysia itself. So I think looking it back, the way how the concept of Malaysia Madani, the spirit of Malaysia itself, not necessarily Malay but also Chinese, Indian, Sarawak people, Sabah people, even orang asli Aborigine people, and as well as the foreign people that we have from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, all the rest of the world. And by history, Malaysia, I think, still a leading country that will be the first place that welcome others to come, and we also will be the first one who comes to their country to provide aid, to help, and so on. So I think this is the way how looking at the discussion with our brothers about the constitution of Madinah. So the principle of brotherhood that Malaysia have, I think this is the backbone, the important backbone that we have to maintain, and Malaysia will champion until the next 100 years. I do believe that we can maintain it, and by having this discussion organized by AXIN and all the members of Islamic NGOs, we need to go out from these four walls. So I think in order to test that the unity, we have the Institute Dialogue at UM, we have IKIM, for example, we have TV Al-Hijrah. So I think we have to call up all this. Yes, Islam need to champion the narrative, but we also need to champion together with other community. We cannot left them behind, but we need to bring them up together with us. So to sum up the questions that in the context of Madani, I think this is what I want to say, that our commitment to champion and to materialize the discussion of Madani as the Madani society, as discussed by Prof. Osman Baka and many of the scholars. So I think this is a test of Malaysia in order to idealize the society of Madani, which comprise with 6 principles. All together with Malaysia become the AI hub in terms of driven society. I think we need to go hand in hand. We cannot leave out the education system. We need to prosper, because of nowadays in Malaysia we discuss there is a hate debate regarding the exam, for example. But ABIM strongly believe that government have their plan in terms of how to strengthening the education of our people. But we need to become together. So looking it back, I think the most important is this is the way how we need to develop. We need to call up the youth, especially in order to not jump into the pool of ignorance, because of, as mentioned by Edward Said, the clash of ignorance will for the states and for the community and the civilization. So I think that is the last point from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farid. I think all of us here today hopefully understand that, right? And as what perhaps what I'm worried about, or the challenge I think, is from taking it from this room outwards to everybody else out there, right? Because all of us are here today because we believe in unity, because we believe in interfaith peace and dialogue. However, out there lies the challenge. And I do believe that there are many good people out there, but maybe they are not exposed, or they are in, closed communities. And I think that's what each of us here, need to bring back and invite others onto the same understanding and putting it on the ground and going beyond just dialogue, but actually real movements and the reality. I think Abim and Ikram and Asin, in Ikram we believe we have our 12 ciri, 12 characteristics of Malaysia Negara Rahmah, which also lie in the principles of compassion and peace, and not just within the Muslims community, but also with other races and other faiths. And for us to all feel that actually we are all safe and guarded in under this administration that should be for all. All right, Connie, now I'd like to ask you, from your experience and through maybe PLLC in Australia, do you have any success stories to share with us, or perhaps challenges that you managed to overcome of there in terms of building bridges, empowering the youth, and AI that perhaps we can learn from Australia?
Very interesting success stories. I think I'd like to preface this by saying that my stance on this is as from a secular point of view, because Australia is a very secular society. Not that many young people talk about religion. So mostly it is about leadership and youth empowerment in that sense. But with barriers and with AI, I think with the youth organization that I overlook, so it's called Type G, the Toowoomba Youth Peace Group. I'll just give you a little bit of an introduction about it. So Type G was formed in 2018, and it was formed after an international peace conference that we had hosted by our office. And from there was a youth panel consisted of 5 young people. And so the moderator of the panel afterwards was like, hey, why don't we gather these 5 young people and create something out of it? And so we got together and had a meeting after that, and it was quite rocky at the start. We weren't sure of what to do, but I think we slowly figured it out along the way. We named ourselves Type G, the Toowoomba Youth Peace Group, and we recognize that the fact that peace is a very broad term. It's an umbrella term, and there are many things that fall underneath the term of peace, right? You can have inner peace, you've got conflict and peace, and then you've got peace within relationships and things like that. And so every year since 2018, Type G has been hosting youth conferences. And so my team now consists of 10 high school members and university members. It's a non-for-profit, so we all volunteer our time to host this event. It is entirely youth-run, youth-led. So apart from the secretariat provided the back-end support from my office, everything else from the ideas to liaising with venues to contacting facilitators and speakers, it is all done by these young people. And so through this organization, we aim to foster and nurture these young people to gain life skills, basically 21st century skills, as we call it in Australia, where we supply them with the skills to connect with people on a grassroots level. And each year we've had a theme for these conferences. we just successfully finished a conference, a youth symposium for 2024. It was titled Middle Ground. Quite literally, we discussed the middle ground between people, the barriers that individuals face from day to day, barriers between you and me, and the middle ground that we can stand on, right? In terms of the differences we might have, and from what I've heard from this morning, the phrase of agreeing to disagree, right? And I think that's especially important in this day and age because we know that so every one of us has different perspectives. I may have different perspectives from you on certain topics, but how do we navigate these challenges and differences without conflict, right? And so that was where middle ground came into fruition. It was quite successful. We had a large group of young people, around 30 to 50 young people, that attended this event, and we had facilitators. So with our symposium, we don't like it to be a top-down approach, so we like everything to be on the floor. So a lot of facilitation and mediation. And so a lot of the day focused on asking very, somewhat polarizing questions. We had questions on mental health, right? What we're facing today. We touched on very touchy-feely topics. We also talked about politics because we want to raise political awareness in young people. I think that's very important for young people because when we are politically aware, we are able to learn how these, I guess, opinions affect our own communities. How do we take these opinions and then use them or learn from them to benefit our own communities? We also talked about nationalism, I think, with Australia, because Australia is a very multicultural nation. We don't just have Chinese people, we don't just have white people, we've also got black people, Indian people, from all over the world, you name it. So navigating these barriers there, where cultural identity and national identity is a big, I guess, issue and topic that we talk about. And at the end of the day, we ended off with a small activity where we created a clay figurine that sort of symbolized middle ground, in the sense where the head related to mental health, the body related to physical aspects and connection and things like that. And I'd like to share a little reflection that we got on the day from a participant. So she said, this one participant said that she felt moved by the experiences on others. It had made her reflect on how much others are experiencing, how many of us can appear to the outward world in many ways that differ from our internal experiences. Therefore, it feels more and more important that youth are supported to have conversations that are real, open, hopeful, brave, and challenging at times. Conversations that remind us of the things that bring us together, that remind us that we are not alone, and remind us of our inner goodness. And so we have to learn to have conversations where we are honest and vulnerable, because only then, by being honest and vulnerable, are we able to create meaningful dialogues, then to build bridges. Dialogue is not just about talk, but it's also about the action taken after the dialogue to encourage empowerment. And as young adults, we have to impart these wisdoms that we have to create safe spaces for young people to create these dialogues, and then in turn learn from them, because they are not just the next generation, it's the generation of now. Yes.
Wow, thank you. I was mesmerized by that. I think that that's amazing what you've done. And I think that is the essence of what we actually need to do, right? Not just, theoretically talk about this, but actually coming down to the ground and the grassroots movement, which actually a lot of us are part of, but basically not just, in the ivory towers kind of thing. You talked about connection. You talked about the identity and being able to talk safely about perhaps polarizing topics. And I think these are the kind of environments that we want to create everywhere, like we have today, to talk about things that perhaps are uncomfortable, that maybe in the end we agree on actually, or maybe we can say we agree to disagree. I think in Islam, we have this concept of fitra, which means that everybody is actually born good. And it's only finding that good in people. And I think everybody has that potential to be good, but they need to be also surrounded by that goodness. And only we can get that through connection with others. Okay, now we are at 6:41. So what I'm going to do is open the floor perhaps to questions from our esteemed speakers from Australia, Bangladesh, and from Malaysia. Any burning questions? Is everybody hungry for dinner already? Latifa, is that right? Yes, Madam Latifa. Is there a mic for the floor, by any chance? Oh, thank you. Oh, this one here as well. The next person, if you can come up here as well to ask a question. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto everybody. Okay, I'm not bringing up a question, but I'd like to follow up on some of the topics she has mentioned about. She said that, yes, today we are talking about AI. AI does bring down barriers and supposed to bring people together. But at the same time, she mentioned that it also brings isolation to individuals, mental health, and so on. Why? Because I think there is an imbalance. Yes, the youth is very important to us because the youth, you are our future generation, okay? So it's very important that I think of late in this generation, there is so much of emphasis on technology, on, materialism and so on, that we have forgotten to build our youth to be a well-rounded person. When God created us, He said, I have created human to be Khalifa on this earth. Okay, for those of you who may not understand what Khalifa means, it's a leader with responsibility. And today, we have lots of leaders, but we don't have leaders with responsibility, unfortunately. So we have to build our youth to be a well-rounded person. And there's an area which I think we need to address. Today, unfortunately, our generation have left the youth in a very sad state, in a sense that the world today, okay, if you look at the climate right in front of us today, it's flooding everywhere. It rains and it floods, and there's, eruption, there is everything. Why is this earth giving us so much problem? It's because we, the older generation, did not take care of this earth. Okay, we were responsible for it. And the youth, the next generation, is going to suffer, having all these catastrophes that's happening. So I think we should actually empower our youth also on how can we heal the earth back to its original. When God created this earth, He created it with abundance. But unfortunately, through the greed of man, that we have made today the world to be, and now the earth is, punishing us back. Okay, so I think we have to also look into this knowledge. Actually, called permaculture. I'm not too sure if people are aware of it. Came from Australia. And I don't know whether our friend is by Bill Mollison. Maybe you can look it up. Bill Mollison and Jeff Lawton. They are looking at how can we heal back the earth, back to its original, by not wasting, by recycling, by healing the earth, taking care of the earth. For example, look at the forest. Anybody waters the forest, or anybody puts fertilizers and things, but the forest flourishes. Okay, so today we humans should learn from nature to see how we can bring back balance to the earth, and this balance will actually make this earth a beautiful place again. Okay, so I think there should be an emphasis maybe on the next, because this one is concentrating on AI, technology, yes, but we shouldn't just be looking at technology. There's something also more important, a well-balanced person. Spiritually, taking care of the earth, the environment, and also technology.
Definitely. Thank you. I agree with you. I think, to be honest, I don't think it's a different topic. I think what we're saying today is that AI can be used to actually reach, achieve that. And I think we all believe, as part of all faiths, that well-rounded individuals, not just in terms of intellects, but also having a good spiritual, having the good values as well, but how AI can actually bring us together through that and to promote that even. And I think with the youth, we could, as with anybody, you can go either way. It's the youth that are driving these things as well. These very important topics of the environment and the protection of the environment. But also with the wrong values, is also the youth that can cause more damage to the earth. So it's about instilling those values. But thank you for your input. Anybody else? Okay, sir. Was there a mic there? Thank you. And then Fatima, I think it was. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks to all. My question is Madani concepts. It is important for us. It is proved already, and it is propagated by our honorable minister. And ABIM also take these concepts. And my question is, what's the steps taken by ABIM to propagate this Madani concept? Because we are Bangladeshi and other countries, we have no clear idea. Although we know the Charter of Medina, okay, but how we can establish Madani concept? What's the steps taken by ABIM to propagate this concept? This is my questions.
Okay. Dr. Farid?
All right, thank you, Doctor, for the questions. How ABIM will taking care or take an actions to propagate the ideas of Madani? It's quite, I'm not sure how to answer it, but basically, because of, yes, ABIM have its roles to play in order to materialize, to idealize the concept of Madani as it is, which is ABIM. Because of the idea, yes, it originated from the Muktamar of ABIM, yes, but the ideas was developed in the mind of the person itself, which is Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. And then later on, ABIM had that kind of spirit, how to spearheaded the words, the idealism throughout from that 1979 until today. Now, Alhamdulillah, because of Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim become the Prime Minister, that it can be as a national agenda. But throughout the history, ABIM played its role in order, first one, in terms of the agenda of da'wah propagation, as well as how to engage with the community, how to develop the youth generation in terms of education, Islamic banking, and so on. So I think this is the way how throughout the history that mentioning or as a proof that ABIM already propagate the idea of Madani in terms of how, in terms of the life of the people, the system as well. So, however, the specific that now that we have throughout the national agenda in the government, ABIM will try its best in order to play how to support the agenda of Madani. But it's not also, because we have also another Islamic NGOs, we also need to respect that the way how it's not only sole ideas of ABIM, but now it become the national agenda. And it need the collaborative action from all, not necessarily ABIM, but ABIM also need to play its action in terms of that. So how to become the being a model to your country. So I think at the national states level, I think this is between G to G. But between, I think, NGO like ABIM and the brothers from the Jamaah Islami and so on, yes, we can discuss and we try our best in order to put into an actions in terms of the perspective of Islamic movement. But yes, we do understand about the challenges as well, but sometimes the ideas not fit with another country. But the idealism, the steps, the approaches can be tried to appropriately approach and plan. However, we also need to understand about the context at the local and how to make it into the context. So I think that is the way how the best answer that I can give to you, hopefully. But Abim also, there are more things Abim need to do in order to see that Abim also in line with the same pipeline with the government national agenda. But if not, Abim will be looking at as a not in line with the national agenda of Malaysia. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farid, and thank you for the question. I think, I don't know if this helps as well, is that Abin and Ikram are quite similar in our approach to many things. And we believe in both a bottom-up and top-down approach, meaning that we are educating our members to be responsible, wholesome individuals, educated with moral values and ethics. And at the same time, we are also, involving in the society and also from a leadership point of view. So it has to be, it can't just be from a top down, it has also to be from a bottom up, teaching the grassroots, involving in the grassroots, and then we can meet in the middle, perhaps, yeah? Fatima, is that right? Yes. Did you have a question?
Hello. Assalamualaikum. So since we are talking about the youth and power, I just want to ask anybody who can answer. As a youth, reading lots of technology advantage and everything compared to our generations, how you seen the earth if you are the one who lead, knowing the different changes that is coming through your generation, like the food, like the environment, the technology. So when the time that you will be the one to lead, so how you see yourself leading the earth within your leadership?
Okay, Fatima, so thank you for the question. So how do you see, as the youth, as the current youth, how do you see yourself leading the earth or the world today, moving forwards with the current problems we have? Is that right? Yeah? With all the technology. How do you see yourself as a leader in the next generation with the current advantages and technologies that we have?
It's a very thoughtful question, but I will give a general and linking answer to the Mrs. also there, Red Kaska, and also the Mr. Matin. Definitely the world today, we cannot control everything. For example, Madam, you did nothing for the wrong for our environment. Compared to the people at the top, that those who are producing the nuclear weapon, the missile, the high technology, you don't have to feel bad. And today, as we are leader or whatever you are calling, we cannot stop them also, because they have the power. If you are talking today to stop the new, what I call the production of Elon Musk, the Tesla, anything, do you think he will listen to you? Definitely no. But what we can do in our stage and from us, this is the crucial. In our country, in Malaysia, in Bangladesh, the subcontinent of Asian countries, we are considered as a poor country, not even middle income countries. According to West, we are not developed countries, but in the middle, Singapore is very lucky. They are, yeah. But anyway, we are talking about the innovation, the creation, the man-made creation. It's making all the revolutionary things that we are saying positive, but have bad impact on the earth. So anyway, we have to learn what is the ethical the way that we can do good things for the world, the earth, the human being as well, and also for the animal. That's why if you read about the 18 SDGs by the United Nations, they are talking about, and then they are imposing the laws, but those are imposing, they are not following. One of the famous the politician in this country, just 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, I got interview with him. He said the democracy and the freedom is according to the prime minister and his leading team, that they will give you the limitation, then you have to follow it. Otherwise, some of the I don't want to mention any country's name because it will become later on contradictory. Many countries we are using in AI system called content control. What is content control? Meaning you are writing something against someone in the top position, you cannot post in anywhere. Even Facebook, TikTok, that will abandon it. That is called screening the content. In every social media they got it. Okay? So I hope that we should know what is good and the harmonious for us. Then in our level, we should practice it. Thank you.
Thank you, Isa. Would you like to answer that?
I think with young people, and if you're as chronically online as me, very online, and especially on Twitter, now known as X, the everything app, because you can find any and everything on there. We are very aware of what happens around us, of what happens around the world, right? I'll log on, X, the everything app, halfway across the world, in the US, in London, in the Middle East. Everything that's happening will always be on there. And so with climate change and with and the issues we are facing at the moment, just quite recently, Trump was elected as president, and so now we're talking about that, the implications it will have on not just the US, but the whole world. We are very aware of these changes, and we are certainly making changes. My personal experience is that I don't like sort of saying that we need to teach the younger generation, because we don't need to teach what has already been taught, what they've already learnt themselves, because they're so, they're very connected at the moment. So we don't need to teach what they've already taught themselves. Change that up a little bit. We need to guide them. Guide what are the correct things to do. How do we lead them to live prosperous lives? How do we lead them to make changes so that they can live in a better society, and then influence them to help the younger generation? And with what our moderator has mentioned before, with young people making change and making noise about the war that's happening in Gaza and in Palestine and Israel, and that we are making waves and making it known to leaders that this is not something we stand for, because at the end we are all human beings, and that we are all the same to be. And so this change is actually, we might consider it small, but it's a domino effect, I believe. What someone has done the past 10 years has definitely made change that we have seen today. We may not know that, but it definitely is there. And so I think we don't need to worry too much about how we're going to lead them, how we're going to teach. But as long as we are there for our community, for our younger generation, for the young people of today, now, and in the future, I think we should be in good hands. Right? I think so. Well, I hope so, at least. Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much, Kani. I liked how you ended on that because that's what I wanted to touch on as well. And I actually disagree with you on one thing where you said that you think it's small. I think it's huge. I think it's massive. And I think what's happening in Palestine today is actually what will change the world moving forward. This is the chance that we are revamping the world as we see it, because everybody is now questioning, what on earth are we listening to all this while? What on earth are the values that have been taught by the West that nearly the whole world has taken up? And the youth are questioning this. The youth are standing up and saying, we are not going to stand for this. No. And this is powerful, absolutely powerful. And I think it's amazing. And I think we need to, the youth are not people to be messed about, right? It's like maybe you can tell somebody older, but no, not with the youth. So I think definitely, as the youth, and that's why I still want to be youth, even though I've surpassed the age, we all have a chance of changing this world to what we want it to and how it should be. And I think what will bring us together is our shared values, as you mentioned earlier, that connectedness as humans, because we aren't robots, we still need that connection between us, and also moving forward, knowing what are the right values to bring this world to a better place than it is today. And I think there's huge hope in that. So on that note, 7:01, past 1 minute, thank you very much to our esteemed speakers from Dr. Farid, Isa, Connie, and thank you so much for everybody who has joined us today and who have joined us online. Please like and share the online link, and let's get together, not just today, but after this, and stay connected, not just online, but also in human connection, and let's make waves of changes for a better future together, inshallah. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good evening. Back to the MC.
You see, when you're in control by somebody, you have got to count him. And I think that's part of the thing that they mentioned by our brother just now about we are in control. I mean, somebody is controlling something. Things we need to move about, we have to maneuver. That's all. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Siti Nur Munirah. It's a good session, actually. I agree with you, though we aged, many of those age group here, we aged, but internally, spiritually, energetically, we're young, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm 63, all right? I rest my case. Okay, now in conclusion, I just, because this will be my last session with you guys, after this, our brother Adli will take over. So he will be more useful than me. Don't worry. All right? Now, as we draw this youth forum to a close, I'm really filled with a deep sense of hope from the discussion just now and optimism for the future. Today, we have witnessed the incredible potential of our youth, bright minds, passionate hearts, and shared values, together with those who are spiritually and passionately young, and commitment to shaping a better world. Now, the conversation we had around youth empowerment in an AI-driven society, we have not mentioned metaverse. All right? There will be more things to come. So we are growing, we're growing. So have been nothing short of inspiring and intriguing. We have explored, I've shared just now, seen just now, not only the challenges, but also the boundless opportunities that lie ahead for young people in this rapid evolving landscape. And there's always this room of the age group to participate, not just watch. From building bridges between cultures and communities to harnessing the power of technology for positive change, it is clear that the future is in capable hands, I'm sure. So, young people, we have confidence in you. To all the panelists and speakers, right? Moderators especially, thank you for sharing your insights and wisdom. Your contribution has sparked new ideas, expanded perspective, and most importantly, reminded us all of the critical role that youth play in the future of our interconnected world. And to our young participants, the real young people, your energy, vision, and drive have truly been the heartbeat of this forum. So you are the ones who will carry the torch forward, making an impact in your communities and paving the way for a more inclusive, peaceful, and innovative world. As we conclude, let us remember that the bridge building we've discussed today is not just a metaphor, It is a call to action, one that each of us can answer by empowering ourselves, embracing technology with responsibility. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to work together across boundaries to create a more harmonious world. Now, we need to invite, very importantly, this is a symbolic presentation, really. We need to invite Brother Hanif Razak, the old generation, to present the token of appreciation to the still young and the young ones as a show of, now, the baton is passed to you. So, shall we have? Yes. This represents me and those who are aged with me. Brother Hanif Razak, Director of Multi-Faith and Multicultural Center, Pure Land College Association, all right, in Toowoomba, Brisbane, to present a token of appreciation first to the moderator, the able moderator, Dr. Siti Noor Munirah Ibrahim from Ikram. Yes. Remember, Munirah, you're still young. And the three young ones who are truly young, Dr. Farid Hafiz Abdul Omar, okay, now the baton has been passed. In other words, in Malay we call it service bertukar tangan. All right, and shall we have Connie Q? Okay, both of them are going back to Australia. They come from the same organization. And of course, the good friend of mine who have met me once upon a time when he was 19. And he sees me not changing. I'm sorry. So Muhammad Isa Ruhullah, hope you pass through. Okay. Now can we have group picture together? After this, we'll break for dinner. And all right, shall we have Haji Jamal and who? President Ahmad Fahmi to take your position on stage. This is also the combination of the old and the young. Okay. Yes. Right. And for your information, Jamal is the same school as I have gone to. Yeah. Yes. So he's also 36. So that was safe. All right. And that's how is the standard that he has now. All right. All right, we'll break for lunch, for dinner and prayer, and we'll continue. We come back for your youth dialogue. That will be this part of emceeing will be taken over by Brother Adli Zakwan, the Vice President of International Affairs of Habib. It will be at about 8. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8.